Hey guys, KatsyCon16 here with another video. Today I will not be doing the Black Dahlia case or the Sarah Winchester mansion story. I will be doing a surprise video. So today is the story of Annabelle. You may be familiar if you've seen any of the Conjuring movies or the new Annabelle series they've kind of been doing lately with her. So let's just get right into the story. I'm really curious to hear what you guys think about it. So yeah, let's get into it. In 1970, a mother purchased an antique Raggedy Ann doll from a hobby store. The doll was a birthday present for her daughter, Donna. Donna was preparing to graduate from college with a nursing degree. She lived in a small apartment with her roommate, Angie. Donna loved the doll and placed it onto her bed as a decoration, not knowing what was to come. Within days, both Donna and Angie noticed that there was something very strange and creepy about the doll. The doll mysteriously seemed to move about the apartment, relatively small movements at first, such as a change in position. As time passed, her movements became more noticeable. Donna and Angie would come home to see the doll in a completely different room. Sometimes the doll would be found with her legs crossed, arms folded, and other times upright, standing on its feet. Several times, Donna left her on the couch before leaving for work to find her back in her room on the bed, with the door closed. The doll didn't just move. It left messages. About a month into these paranormal experiences, Donna and Angie began to find notes written on parchment paper that read, "Help us" and "Help Lou." It looked like the notes had been written by a small child. The most creepy part of the messages was not just the wording, but on the paper they were written. Angie and Donna never kept parchment paper in their home, so how did this doll get its hands on the paper? One night, Donna came home from work to find that her doll had moved again. This time, it was on her bed. This was a typical thing the doll did, but she knew this time it was different. Something wasn't right. A sense of fear came over her when she inspected the doll. It appeared to have blood drops on its hands and chest. Seemingly from nowhere, a liquidy red substance had appeared on the doll. Scared and desperate, Donna and Angie decided it was time to seek expert advice. Not knowing where to turn, they contacted a medium and a seance was held. Donna was then introduced to the spirit of Annabelle Higgins. The medium told the story of Annabelle to both Donna and Angie. Annabelle was a young girl that resided on the property before the apartments were constructed. She was only 7 years old when her body was found in the field upon which the apartment complex now stands. The spirit related to the medium that she felt comfort with Donna and Angie and wanted to stay with them and be loved. Feeling compassion for Annabelle and her story, Donna gave her permission to inhabit the doll and stay with them. They soon found out, however, that Annabelle was not what she appeared to be. This was no ordinary doll. Lou was good friends with Donna and Angie and had been with them since the day the doll arrived. Lou had never been fond of the doll and on several occasions warned Donna it was evil and should get rid of it. Donna's decision to keep her was a terrible mistake. Lou woke up one night from a deep sleep and in panic. He had a reoccurring bad dream. Only this time somehow, something felt different. It was as though he was awake but couldn't move. He looked around the room but couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. Then it happened. Looking down at his feet, he saw Annabelle slowly beginning to climb up his leg, moving up his chest and then stopping. Within seconds, the doll was strangling him. At this point, Lou was paralyzed and gasping for breath. Eventually, he blacked out. He awoke the next morning, certain it wasn't a dream. He was determined to rid himself of the spirit that possessed it. He would then have one more terrifying experience with Annabelle. Preparing for a road trip the next day, Lou and Angie were reading over maps in her apartment. It seemed eerily quiet. Suddenly, rustling sounds coming from Donna's room aroused fear that someone had possibly broken into the apartment. Lou was determined to figure out who this perpetrator was. He quietly made his way into the bedroom door and waited for the noises to stop before entering and turning on the light. The room was empty except for Annabelle, who was tossed on the floor in the corner. Lou scoured the room for forced entry, but nothing was out of place. As he got close to the doll, He got the impression that someone was behind him. Spinning around, he was quick to realize that no one else was there. Then, in a flash, he found himself grabbing for his chest, doubled over, cut and bleeding. His shirt was stained with blood, and upon opening his shirt, there on his chest was what looked like to be 7 distinct claw marks, 3 vertically and 4 horizontally. All were like burns. These scratches healed almost immediately, half gone the next day and fully gone by day 2. Donna was finally willing to accept that the spirit may not be that of a young girl, but that of something inhuman and demonic in nature. After Lou's experiences, Donna felt it was time to seek real expert advice and contacted a priest named Father Hegan. Hegan felt it was a spiritual matter and felt he needed to contact a higher authority in the church. So he contacted Father Cook, who then immediately contacted the Warrens. Ed and Lorraine Warren immediately took interest in the case and contacted Donna concerning the doll. The Warrens, after speaking with Donna, Angie, and Lou, came to the conclusion that the doll itself was not possessed, but manipulated by an inhuman presence. Spirits do not possess inanimate objects. They possess people. An inhuman spirit can attach itself to a place or object, and this is what occurred in the Annabelle case. This spirit manipulated the doll and created the illusion of being alive in order to get recognition. Truly, the spirit was not looking to stay attached to the doll, but to attach itself to a human host. The demonic spirit was essentially the infestation stages of the phenomenon. It first began moving the doll around the apartment by means of teleportation to arouse the occupants' curiosity in hopes that they would give it recognition, then predictably make the mistake of bringing a medium into the apartment to communicate with it. The inhuman spirit, now able to communicate through the medium, preyed on the girl's emotional vulnerabilities by pretending to be a harmless, lost young girl with which, during the seance, was allowed permission from Donna to haunt the apartment. Then it set about causing patently negative phenomena to occur. It aroused fear through the weird movements of the doll. It brought about the materialization of the disturbing handwritten notes, the symbolic drops of blood on the doll, and ultimately it even attacked Lou, leaving behind the symbolic mark of the beast. The next stage of the infestation phenomenon would have been complete human possession. Had these experiences lasted another 2 or 3 weeks, the spirit would have completely possessed, if not harmed or killed, one or all the occupants of the house. His suspicions were all too correct. In no time, the Warrens felt themselves as the object of a vicious hatred. Then, at each dangerous curve, the car swerved and stalled with every corner, causing the power steering and brakes to fail. Repeatedly, the car verged on collision. Ed reached into the back seat into his black bag and took out a vial of holy water and doused the doll, making the sign of the cross over it. The disturbances stopped immediately, and the Warrens arrived safely home. After they arrived home, Ed sat the doll in the chair next to his desk. The doll levitated a number of times in the beginning, and then it seemed to fall inert. During the ensuing weeks, however, it began showing up in various rooms of the house. When the Warrens were away and had the doll locked up in the outer office building, they would often return to find it sitting comfortably upstairs in Ed's easy chair when they opened the main front door. The doll also showed a hatred for clergymen who came into the house. In one instance, Father Jason Bradford, a Catholic exorcist, came into the house. Upon seeing the doll seated in the chair, he picked it up and said, "You're just a rag doll, Annabelle. You can't hurt anyone," and tossed the doll back into the chair, at which point Ed exclaimed, "That's one thing you better not say." Upon leaving an hour later, Lorraine pleaded to the priest to please be careful driving and to call her when he arrived home. Lorraine discerned tragedy for this young priest, but he had to go his way. A few hours later, Father Jason called Lorraine and explained his brakes had failed as he entered a busy intersection. He was involved in a near-fatal accident, destroying his vehicle. This was just one of the many such events that occurred over the next few years. The Warrens had a special case built for Annabelle inside the Occult Museum, where she resides to this day. Since the case was built, Annabelle no longer appeared to move, but she is thought to be responsible for the death of a young man who came to the museum on motorcycle with his girlfriend. The young man, after hearing Ed's account of the doll, defiantly went up and began to bang on the case, insisting that if the doll can put scratches on people, then he wanted to also be scratched. Ed said to the young man, "Son, you need to leave," and put him out of the building. On the way home, the young man and his girlfriend were laughing and making fun of the doll when he lost control of his motorcycle and went head-on into a tree. The young man was killed instantly, but his girlfriend survived and was hospitalized for over a year. When asked what happened, the young woman explained that they were laughing about the doll when they lost control of the motorcycle. Ed warns you, do not challenge evil, that no man is more powerful than Satan. Texas State University Assistant Professor of Religious Studies Joseph Laycock says most skeptics have dismissed the Warrens Museum as full of off-the-shelf Halloween junk, dolls, toys, books, and more that you could buy at any bookstore. Laycock calls the Annabelle legend an interesting case study in the relationship between pop culture and paranormal folklore, and speculates that the demonic doll trope popularized by films such as Child's Play, Dolly Dearest, and The Conjuring likely emerged from early legends surrounding Robert the Doll, as well as a Twilight Zone Season 5 Episode 6 titled Living Doll, released 5 years prior to the Warren story. Laycock suggests that the idea of demonically possessed dolls allows modern demonologists to find supernatural evil in the most banal and domestic of places. Commenting on publicity for the Warrens Occult Museum coinciding with the film release of The Conjuring, science writer Sharon A. Hill said that many of the myths and legends surrounding the Warrens have seemingly been of their own doing, and that many people have a difficulty separating the Warrens from their Hollywood portrayal. Hill criticized sensational press coverage of the Warrens Occult Museum and its Annabelle doll. She said, like real-life Ed Warren, real-life Annabelle is actually far less impressive. Of the supernatural claims made about Annabelle by Ed Warren, Hill said, "We have nothing but Ed's word for this, and also for the history and origins of the objects in the museum." Annabelle has now become a character in the Conjuring universe, an American horror film franchise. She first appeared in the 2013 film The Conjuring. The story served as inspiration for the opening scene of The Conjuring, where it is depicted as a sinister, worn-out porcelain doll, as well as its spin-offs, Annabelle in 2014, Annabelle Creation in 2017, and Annabelle Comes Home 2019. Well, guys, that concludes the video. What did you think of this story? What do you think of the doll? Is she really possessed by some freaky demon? Or is she really possessed by some innocent little girl? Or is she not even possessed at all and just used as a publicity stunt to gain popularity for the Warrens? Who really knows? No one. That's why this case still remains unsolved and probably will for the rest of time. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for supporting my channel. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Have a great day, and stay spooky.